Welcome to Tai Chi. Everybody ready? Let's warm up. Hands at your waist, turn your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Lift up, drop down. 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Expand your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Waist exercise. Interlock those fingers. Stretch your hands to the ceiling. Turn at the hips and waist to peek at the heel of your opposite foot. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Airplane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Touch toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be careful. Shift your weight to the left. Kick your right foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kick your butt. 1. Shift your weight. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Heisman, opening up your span, parallel feet, choose the right side. Cross and sit on the right side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cross and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Short 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those warm-up exercises were taken from other martial arts discipline. They're just not any old exercise. So when we talk about shifting weight and grounding ourselves, shifting our weight for better balance, that's all wrapped up into how we can be safe in learning the discipline of Tai Chi or the art of Tai Chi. So some of the things now will overlap, or many things will overlap as we learn to be a golden cockerel. To be a golden cockerel standing on one foot, we're going to have to learn to shift our weight. So just stand there and shift your weight to the left, shift your weight to the right, shift your weight to the left, and so on. Get the feel of what it means to shift your weight. So when you shift your weight, you notice that the foot that gains the weight usually is flexed, rather than straight up, okay? Because that's not part of our Tai Chi posture. When we're a golden cockerel standing on its left, which will be the opposite side of you, we learn to bring up the front hand towards the center of our body while the other hand sits to the side. While one hand comes up, the other one counterbalances by going down. So everything is in synchronized movements. We're also looking later on, as you get better, at spirals. Spiral up and spiral down. Spiral up, spiral down. Okay? So let's get used to that as our warm-up. I'll turn around and we'll try to do our best, okay? Opening up our span a little bit, okay? So left hand shifts weight to the left foot, centers with the right hand, the right foot comes up. Golden cockerel, shift weight, stands on its right, shift weight, center, counterbalance, up. Centers, counterbalances, and synchronizing your up movement. At the same time, pushing down on the opposite hand. And sometimes it's good to just kind of do your own and listen rather than watch anything or get distracted, because everybody has their own ways and styles and rhythm. One last set. Okay, so just looking at being a golden cockerel, we talked about centering, we talked about shifting of weight, we talked about counterbalancing. There may be others, but for now, those three elements pervade all of our movements in Tai Chi. It's not just isolated to this one movement. You will always hear centering, counterbalancing, shifting of weight. You'll also hear us talk about your center of gravity. Everyone has a center of gravity 2 inches below your navel. 2 inches below our navel is what is referred to as a dantian point. It is the center of everyone's system or body that keeps you posted and erect because it is your center. So you say it's theirs, then why do I have to, be bothered with it, and why can't I just ignore it? Well, the opposite occurs. If you are aware of it and you know that your center is now not in the center but pushing forward or going back or going to the side, you are not in balance. So you need to be aware of that center. So in our system, there are 3 central danten points. Through the middle of our skull, through the middle of our chest, and then the one that we just talked about. So if that is true and you need to post yourself, everybody can put up their pointing finger and say, this is the center of my body. Can we do that? So if this is the center of our body, we're able to rotate, right? You're going to turn to the right, you're going to turn to the left. You're going to advance either side, you're going to advance forward. But each time you make that position change, you are posted, you are centered, you are in good posture and not moving with your hand. You move with your hand, you move with a fall, right? So we're looking at posture. So in being a golden cockerel, we don't want to lean to one side. I won't even do it because I will topple on one foot. So I'm making sure that I know where my danten is. I know that my head is erect. I know it's not looking down like this, right? So my head is heavy. I will probably tip. So you want to be in the best ideal position that you can, obeying gravity. Gravity is the stuff that keeps you strong and posted if you are aware of where gravity is. So gravity is going to be on the foot that bears my weight. Left foot, right foot, okay? So now moving on to another warm-up exercise, which is definitely a movement, is called kicking out. So in kicking out, we open up our span. We gather our energy using a rounded, coming up by our danten, centering ourselves, and then kicking out in line. When we kick out in line, what do I mean? The right foot is going to kick, the right hand is going to follow it. The other hand does not follow it, but it helps with a counterbalance. A counterbalance meaning on the opposite side, okay? So let's try that first, okay? And then we can polish it up a little bit more with words, okay? Opening up our span, we're gonna shift your weight to the left. How do you shift your weight to the left? How do you shift your weight to the right? You feel that you're heavier when you shift your weight. You also feel that you can flex a little bit to bear all your weight, okay? So right now, we're 50-50, evenly distributed. We're gonna put our hands this way. We're gonna gather our energy towards our danten point, come up with the right hand on the outside, and kick out with our right. Shift your weight to the right, left hand on the outside, left foot coming up, follow with your eyes, follow with your kick. Shift your weight, right foot, right hand up, follow your kick. 50-50, shift weight to the right, left hand on the outside, left foot coming up, follow your kick. Gather energy, center towards your danten, come up, and kick out. Shift your weight, left hand on the outside, left foot coming up, kick out and follow. One last set. Shift weight to the left, right hand, right foot up, kick out. Shift weight, left hand outside, left foot up, follow your kick. Okay? So we try to incorporate centering, counterbalancing, shifting of weight, We also heard that when our left foot comes up and wants to kick out, our left hand is on the outside of our cross. Right foot wants to come up, right hand on the outside, and kick out. Okay, we can always refine this, okay, and get a few elements in, but really to gather energy creates a spiral or a semicircle. And remember we talked about that pointing finger being our axle or our danten points. We can turn on that axle, we can turn on that axle, but we have to stay erect. So can you see that I'm at 50-50, I'm centering myself, I'm turning on my axle slightly to the one side that I'm going to be posted, watch again. I turn towards the right side and I follow my kick. So I'm using whatever I have in my body to take advantage of the best, the prime position to be safe. So when we do our warm-ups, we turned on our axle, right? We used our hips and waist. We warmed up our core. Tai Chi is not just hand movements. It's easy to do this, but that's not why you're learning Tai Chi. You're learning to shift your weight, bear all that weight, think through your movement, rotate on that axle, and do it safer, okay? So all the things that I talk about does not just apply to this lesson, but pervades, again, everything about Tai Chi. Similarly, when you have time and you sit down and you watch other people, such as, excuse me, students in the other classes, those generalities and principles apply to your Tai Chi also. All right. Last time we talked about kicking out, golden cockerel. This time we're going to move into a little bit deeper into our feet work, okay? First of all, we're going to remind ourselves about what's good Tai Chi posture. Good Tai Chi posture means that we must drop our shoulder with our middle finger to the side seam of our pants. We can never stiffen up, everybody stiffen up like a soldier, but we need to drop. When you stiffen up again and you drop, you created naturally several elements, if not all the elements of Tai Chi posture. Our shoulders are dropped, our middle fingers to the side seam. As a result, our chest is concave. It's not flat or stiff like a board. Our butt took a natural dip in rather than straight or protruding. Our chin is slightly down rather than parallel to the ground. Our glance is way ahead out into infinity, not watching the floor, but way out. Okay? Our tongue is on our palate and our head is straight up. We're at 50-50. We learned that when we are practicing and drilling, it's okay to put our hands at our waist. This is a T stance. Do it with me because it looks like a capital T. We're going to take an L stance. An L stance is out and to the side. Where? With your hand. Out and to the side in one motion on your left heel. Here we go. T stance, L stance. Energy on the right or the back foot. Move that energy. Turn the hips and waist. This is called a bow stance. Why is it called a bow stance? Bow because the left foot is a bow, the back leg is an arrow. Straight as an arrow, but relaxed and not locked in. This is called a sit back, sit down. You're sitting on an imaginary stool. Your energy is posted on the back foot to alleviate the insubstantial front foot to move. Twist step. Your foot is parallel or on a line of the tile. You're posted down because one foot has to be grounded. The right foot is now taking the stem of the capital letter T. We're rooted down, we're safe. We're going to take an L stance because it goes in a pattern. T stance, L stance, bow stance. T stance, out and to the side on your heel. Where? Out and to the side on your heel. Show me with your hand. L stance is out and to the side on your heel. Here it is with our feet, our foot. T stance, out and to the side on our heel, L stance. Turn the hips and waist, flatten out the front foot, bow stance. Bow and arrow. Knee not beyond your toes. All right? Let's do an experiment. Knee is not beyond our toes. We are in good Tai Chi posture. Push the knee beyond your toe. What happens? You are no longer in Tai Chi posture. Give me a good Tai Chi posture coming back. When you push forward, do it again, you are more apt to fall forward. Therefore, you need to bring that knee in line with your toe and keep your back straight up. Sit back and sit down on that imaginary stool, to post down on the back foot, to give an insubstantial front foot, to twist or turn. Shift your weight to that right foot. It takes turns. Put your left foot to the capital T. Next is an L stance, out and to the side. Turn the hips and waist, flatten out. Make the adjustment in the back foot to a 45-degree bow stance. What happens? Sit back, sit down, pivot that foot on its heel, root down, make your capital T, step out and to the side on your heel, turn the hips and waist, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, capital T, out and to the side, L, turn the hips and waist, adjust the back foot to a 45-degree bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, T, L, turn the hips and waist, flatten, adjust the back foot, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, T stance, okay, and relax. So yes, you are following me as best as you could, and that's very good, okay? So we're laying the groundwork for the foundations of moving with our feet. There are always some times where you think you're doing something really, really well, and then it's really not as well as you think. So if you can watch, this is my T, I'm rooted down. If this is my T, it's not so good. I don't understand what really rooting down is. When you root down, you have to be heavily rooted on the back foot to be in a good T stance. I said to take, after a T stance, you take an L stance. So we said it's out and to the side on your heel, out and to the side, so that when I plant this foot down, it has to be on the tile of a line, a tile of a floor of a tile, whatever it is, or parallel. It cannot go this way, okay, because that's not what it's going to turn out to be. It's going to hurt your knee joints. So going over that again, this is my T, this is my L. Because if I do a bow stance, my foot is on the line or parallel to the line. If we understand that correctly, is this correct? NO, right? This is not parallel to the line, or is it on a line, okay? So we have to really watch that one because it's a common mistake, okay? So just to summarize what I taught you. T stance, out and to the side, L stance, turn the hips and waist, adjust the back foot to a 45-degree, flatten the front foot, knee not beyond the toe. Sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, shift weight, T, L stance, out and to the side, heel, Move the energy, flatten down, adjust the back foot, bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Okay, one more angle, okay? This is how you were. T stance, I'm straight up. I'm not in good Tai Chi posture if I'm looking down and bent over, okay? But neither am I stiff like this, because if I'm stiff like this, the first element of dropping your shoulders is not applying, right? So you have to feel relaxed, and you cannot feel relaxed to bend down, but somewhere in between, all right? So this is my T, this is my L. My energy is stored in the back. I move my energy. I flatten down at the same time. I adjust the back foot. My knee is not beyond my toe. I sit down. I sit back, rolled into one, 2 movements, alleviating the weight as much as possible in my front foot to allow it to pivot on its heel. Make sure that it's on a line or parallel to the line. I root down. I get my stability, and then I form my T. After the T becomes an out and to the side L, post it down still, move the energy safely across my hips and waist, through my shoulders, chest and shoulders, and flatten down. I sit back, I sit down. Why do I sit back and sit down? Because I want that energy stored and stored well. If you have energy and it's stored well, you will then be able to move that energy in a fuller way. Therefore, you will be safer. When 2 feet have too much equal weighting or not enough draining of one foot, you will then probably trip or stumble. Okay? So I think you're following me. I think you're smart. I think you're good. But what you understand clearly may be, Victor's here. So you're telling me we should all clap for Victor. Yay, Victor's back and surprised us. So very good. So where was I? So sometimes, and I know you're all understanding me and visually soaking it all in, but the harder part is when your body cannot do what your mind and vision says it should do, okay? But to me, that's a plus, because you forever will have something to work on. Who wants to live a life where there's no work? You want to not stay at your status quo, but you want to kick it up, kick it up, kick it up, because time has pushed us down. Our body is not able to do all the stuff that a 10-year-old can do, right? So you want to keep in that framework. Plus, it's a new year. You don't want to do the same old thing. You want it to be better, okay? So with that charge, with that energy, let's practice, okay? If you get really good, if you get really good, we can end class not only with the 10 form, but we can also add hand motions into it. Okay, Rick, you had a question. Yeah, okay. So I didn't cover sit down, sit back as well as some of you feel like I should have. The question is, when you sit back and sit down, do you bend your knee? Yes, you can see that. The reason is that you want to be fully weighted to store the energy. Sit back, sit down. Why? Because we said the premise for good Tai Chi is that we can only move the foot that hardly has any weight. Okay? So you say, oh, I understand that. That's not so hard. Okay, but look, I don't mean to sit back, sit down. Why? I'm slanted, waiting to fall, right? So there again, my core went back. It did not obey gravity. It's helping me to get into an accident. Therefore, post it straight up. Dantian areas all lined up. Bow stance. Knee not locked. If it's locked, it's this way, and I'm not going to be able to move safely. I want it straight, but I don't want it dipped. So somewhere in between, it's relaxed, which allows me then to answer Rick's question. I sit down, I sit back, I sit down. Allowing that front foot to be weightless. I post down to obey gravity, shift my weight to a T, out on an L, turn the hips and waist, flatten out, making the adjustment in a 45-degree. Last one, and I sit back, sit down. I actually lower myself. The knee is bent, okay? 2 good sets, and then let's add something to it, okay? Okay, so we're sitting on an imaginary chair. All right, so this is our goal. We want to make sure that we have our feet work laid correctly so that by the time you leave this class, you will be carrying a Tai Chi ball in those movements. Everybody buy into it? Okay, so discipline yourself. Let's see if we can do a good job. 2 sets of our movements. Hands at your waist, good Tai Chi posture, okay? T-stance, out and to the side, out with a heel. L stance, turn the hips and waist, flatten out. Bow stance. Sit back and lower. Pivot up, pivot. Root down for a T. Out to the side L. Turn the hips and waist. Knee not beyond your toes. Sit back and lower. Pivot. Root down. Form your T. Out into an L. Turn the hips and waist. Adjust 45, flatten. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Root down, then form your T. L stance. Turn the hips and waist. Adjust and flatten. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Root down. Pause with a T. Okay, any questions? So I think you've gotten it at least 75%. I think that some days you'll get it at 100, but sometimes you'll fall back at 75. Okay, but you're learning, you're beginning, and you're allowed to do mistakes, right? That's why you're learning in class, you're in school. Yeah. So in Tai Chi, this lesson can be applied to my level 3, can be applied to us. We're constantly refining our movements. I can accept mistakes. You're beginners, okay? But slowly as you understand what we're talking about and all this new knowledge and getting acquainted with your new body, because you don't really know your body as well as you think you do, we can start to refine. So we just want to, so I'm going to do everything wrong, and you figure out what's wrong. It's going to be obvious, okay? Right? No, anybody thinks it was good? Okay, Walter got it. It's this way. Why? We talked about synchronizing. We talk about timing. We talk about staying safe. If my foot comes out on an L, which is correct, and I flatten this guy before I turn my hips and waist, I'm going to have problems with my knee. The energy did not move slowly, and the ligaments and joints in my knee are taking a beating. So clearly this is a T, this is clearly an L. The energy, and I posted, and my knee is bent, needs to travel from the sole of my foot to the ankle, to the leg, to the knee, to the thigh, to the hips, to the waist, through the chest, through my shoulder and then come down. It cannot jump from here to there. Okay, you're going to run into trouble. So yes, Tai Chi is slow, it is difficult, but the rewards are tremendous. No one can teach you about your body except yourself. And to do so in the art of Tai Chi, doing it slowly, safely, is to us the best way, okay? And that's why we feel that we need to lay the groundwork rather than just do Tai Chi and let your foot all follow, okay? And think you're doing good Tai Chi. All right, we said that we can move on to hold our ball. When we hold our ball, it's a Tai Chi imaginary ball. So kind of copy what I'm doing and notice where the top hand is, where the bottom hand is, where my hands are positioned when I have that full imaginary Tai Chi ball. So we are in good Tai Chi position or posture. Our shoulders should never be raised. As much as possible, they're relaxed, okay? You notice that the ball is a certain size. Your size of the ball is not the same size as mine, neither is it the same as others. But it all follows in that the top hand is chest level. Is your top hand chest level? Continue to do. The only way to get better is to do, okay? So if the top hand is chest level, let's look at the bottom hand. The bottom hand centers our ball by being 2 inches below our navel. We heard that before. That is our center of gravity. Now, I'm going to turn this way. Okay, you can rest and wiggle around. I want you to see what you see outside of me. If there's nothing, then good, okay? So you do it with me, and do you notice when I hold my ball in a still position, what do you see? What do you see? You should not see my elbows. If you see my elbows, I am not doing a good job. So what is it that keeps me from not showing my elbows? I keep it in the ball in front of me, not to the side of me. So how do you do that? You pull your ball in this way. You pull your ball in this way. Maybe pull is a strong word, but it's a word that helps you to understand the ball is not here. The ball is not here, because you will then see my elbows. But the ball is pulled in this way, or the positioning of your hands is pulled and overlap. Not palm to palm, but almost elbow and palm, palm and elbow, okay? So you can spin your ball like you're doing. Another element that's essential is that the bottom hand advances. Okay, no doing anything, watch what I'm doing and see what I mean when I say the bottom hand advances. Okay? So do you know what it means now that the bottom head advances? Whenever you have a ball or whenever you move, it's the bottom hand that advances. It's never the top hand that advances. I'm having a hard time because that's not how the discipline goes. Whenever you have a ball, no matter what top hand you have, the bottom hand advances. Along the same line, if you can follow me before we try, if this is my left foot, my left hand will be on the bottom. Therefore, when I advance, my left foot advances, my left hand advances. Does that make sense? If I hold my ball and my right foot wants to go, my bottom hand has to be the advancing hand, right foot, right hand. That's how you can check to see whether your hand position is correct. Also, do you notice that my hand, when I form my ball, is never in a mumbled, jumbled way? It takes the top position. It comes out, bottom hand advances, right, right. I sit back. The top hand stays on the top. The other one grabs the bottom. So to do it maybe incorrectly, I'm going to push this guy out. But that doesn't make sense. So bottom hand advances. But if I don't understand that, I'll say, oh, maybe it's this way, which is wrong because my right foot has to come out. My right hand's on the top. The bottom hand advances. Okay, that gets a little bit more confusing, but if you can understand initially, the bottom hand advances, the right foot goes out, the bottom hand has to be the right. Okay, let's try that, okay? We're on a T stance, okay, and you're in here to have fun. Don't be so cruel to yourself and be down and say, this is so hard and I can't understand it. That's not the right attitude, okay? All right. T stance, left hand on the bottom, because left foot is ready to go. Left hand on the bottom, 2 inches below your navel. Right hand at chest level. Bring the ball in. Store that energy, taking an L stance. Split the hands, bottom hand advances to part the wild horse's mane. Sit back and lower, pivot, root down, left hand on the top, right hand on the bottom, bring it in on a T stance, out on your heel, split your hands so that the bottom hand advances to part the wild horse's mane. Sit back and lower, pivot, right hand on the top on a T stance to hold your ball, out on a heel, move that ball, split the hands, bottom hand advances to part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot, left hand on the top, root down first, T and then the ball. Bring those arms in, L stance, right foot out, right hand on the bottom, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot, right hand on the top as you root down on the right, left foot ready to go, left hand on the bottom, L stance, O stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, hold your ball in a T, out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot, hold your ball in a T stance and root down. Okay, so don't worry, get what you can, practice what you understand, look at the online lesson, come with questions. You can always email me if you want to make sure that you have the right position or you have a question. You can wait till next time. You can talk to me after class. All right. Don't worry, we will go over this over and over again, okay? Over and over till you get it, okay? What I want to do now is let you out at 5 minutes to the hour so that the other class has parking spaces. So I want to end class with a 10 form. The purpose in doing it is to give you an overview of what you're going to learn in 15 weeks, okay? So yes, you're gonna say, I can't see her hands, I don't know what she's doing, this is crazy, I don't know why I'm in this class. But take a step back and say, this is giving me the experience of knowing what's ahead of me, what my body will be challenged to do, but I'm ready for learning something new because it will provide me with a better understanding of how I can use my body to protect myself from not only falling, tripping, and all those other things that we are kind of up against as we age, okay? And stamina, Tai Chi gives you stamina. Who goes practicing and standing on one foot? Who shifts their weight and learns that you have to counterbalance and center yourself? At the same time you're doing this, your mind is active and processing everything that you hear or try to make your body do. So your mind is not going to sleep. Okay, so very unique. All right. We said that we would go with the 10 form and try it out. The 10 form is usually done in about less than 4 minutes, okay? But maybe with instructions or maybe with whatever, it might be a little longer. Okay, good Tai Chi posture, dropping those shoulders. Shift weight to the right, heel comes up on your toe, open, toe, arch, heel, hands rotate to the middle of your thighs as you take a deep breath in, elevate your hands, shoulder level, push down, reverse the process, make yourself small. Left hand in the center, right hand rises up higher, open palms to the ceiling. Watch and glance as the back hand comes to the ear. Turn your head and neck. Meet both hands in the center as you push back, push forward as if to repulse the monkey. Center the right hand, left hand higher, open. Bring it to your ear. Turn your head and neck. Meet in the center, repulse the monkey. This is one of the harder moves. Brush knee, one parallel to your shoulder, one up higher on a T stance. L stance, all together, move your hips and waist as you brush your knee. Sit back and lower, pivot, parallel higher on a T, out on an L, turn the hips and waist, hands go for the ride, brush knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, hold your ball in a T stance. We're going to take an L, split your hands, left, left, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot, ball for better balance on a T stance, right hand, right foot. Out on an L, turn the hips and waist, split the hands, bottom hand advances, bow stance. Sit back up, turn the front hand, join it with the back hand. Cloud hands. Sit back, sit down, pivot, 12 o'clock. Pivot out with your left heel, 9 o'clock. Flip the hands, close the feet. Stem cup at 12, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 2 things happen, flip the hands, open the feet. 9 o'clock, 1 thing happens, flip the hands. 12 o'clock, stem cup, 3 o'clock, flip the hands, close the feet. 12 o'clock, stem cup, 9 o'clock, 2 things happen, flip the hands, open the feet. 3 o'clock, only flip the hands. 12 o'clock, shift your weight to the left, up, golden cockerel. Shift weight to the right, Golden cockerel stands on its right. Gather energy, center, right hand on the outside, right foot coming up, kick out. Shift weight, left hand outside, left foot coming up, and kick out. Holding our ball, right hand on the bottom, right foot ready to go. Out and to the side, forearm your opponent. Turn your hips and waist, reposition your hands, grasp the bird's tail, sit down, look back. Turn, hips and waist, push out, roll back, sit down, up and forward. Sit down, sit back, twist, right hand on the top, holding your ball, out into the L, forearm your opponent, turn hips and waist, reposition hands, grasp the bird's tail, turn at the hips and waist, contact, turn at the hips and waist, push out from the center, separate your hands and roll back and sit down, come up, push forward, near closing, apparently closed, twist, open pivot, in pivot, embrace the tiger with the right hand inside the cross, rotate your wrists, bring him up, push him closer to you, use your force of the left wrist and your core to separate both hands, palms facing down, drop your shoulders, flex your knees, let gravity take care of everything, wrap around, shift weight to the right so your heel can come up, off the ground, toe down, closing form. Shift weight to the right, heel comes up, on your toe, open, toe, arch, heel, hands rotate to the middle of your thighs as you take a deep breath in, elevate your hands, shoulder level, push down, reverse the process, make yourself small. Left hand in the center, right hand rises up higher, open palms to the ceiling. Watch and glance as the back hand comes to the ear. Turn your head and neck, meet both hands in the center as you push back, push forward as if to repulse the monkey. Center the right hand, left hand higher, open. Bring it to your ear, turn your head and neck, meet in the center, repulse the monkey. This is one of the harder moves. Brush knee, one parallel to your shoulder, one up higher on a T stance. L stance, all together, move your hips and waist as you brush your knee. Sit back and lower, pivot, parallel higher on a T, out on an L, turn the hips and waist, hands go for the ride, brush knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, hold your ball on a T stance. We're going to take an L, split your hands, left, left, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot, ball for better balance on a T stance, right hand, right foot. Out on an L, turn the hips and waist, split the hands, bottom hand advances, O stance. Sit back, up, twist, turn the front hand, join it with the back hand. Cloud hands, sit back, sit down, pivot, 12 o'clock. Pivot out with your left heel, 9 o'clock. Flip the hands, close the feet. Stem cup at 12, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, two things happen, flip the hands, open the feet. 9 o'clock, one thing happens, flip the hands. 12 o'clock, stem cup, 3 o'clock, flip the hands, close the feet. 12 o'clock, stem cup, 9 o'clock, two things happen, flip the hands, open the feet. 3 o'clock, only flip the hands. 12 o'clock, shift your weight to the left, up, golden cockerel. Shift weight to the right, golden cockerel, stands on its right. Gather energy, center, right hand on the outside, right foot coming up, kick out. Shift weight, left hand outside, left foot coming up, and kick out. Holding our ball, right hand on the bottom, right foot ready to go. Out and to the side, forearm your opponent. Turn your hips and waist, reposition your hands, grasp the bird's tail, sit down, look back. Turn, hips and waist, push out, roll back, sit down, up and forward. Sit down, sit back, twist, right hand on the top, holding your ball, out into the L, forearm your opponent, turn hips and waist, reposition hands, grasp the bird's tail, turn at the hips and waist, contact, turn at the hips and waist, push out from the center, separate your hands and roll back and sit down, come up, push forward, near closing, apparently closed, twist, open pivot, in pivot, embrace the tiger with the right hand inside the cross, rotate your wrists, bring him up, push him closer to you, use your force of the left wrist and your core to separate both hands, palms facing down, drop your shoulders, flex your knees, let gravity take care of everything, wrap around, shift weight to the right so your heel can come up, off the ground, toe down, closing form. Okay, very good. Good job. I like the enthusiasm, the conscientiousness, and all the attention that you've given. So good job. See you next time.